What if the darkest parts of the past never really leave? In a city like Dallas, built on big dreams and even bigger history, some stories are just too powerful to be forgotten. You know the saying, everything's bigger in Texas? Well, that goes for the urban legends too. From a terrifying creature stalking a lakeside to a mysterious gateway in the woods, this city is brimming with dark tales. So, which one is the absolute scariest? Tonight, we're counting down the 5 most haunting legends that still give this city the chills. Dallas, Texas. It's a city of glittering skyscrapers, big business, and legendary football. It's constantly looking to the future, always building, growing, and reinventing itself. But if you scratch just beneath that shiny modern surface, you'll find a much darker side. You'll find the stories that locals only whisper about after the sun goes down. These are tales of tragedy, bizarre creatures, and violence that have left a permanent stain on the city's history. And these aren't just spooky stories you tell around a campfire. They're legends that are woven into the very fabric of the Dallas area, tied to real places you can still visit. They're the echoes of events so traumatic, they've left a scar on the landscape itself. Today, we're diving into the 5 most haunting Dallas urban legends. These are the stories passed down through generations. The legends that make you check the locks at night, the tales that make you glance over your shoulder when you're walking down a quiet Texas road. From a supposed portal in a public park to the most infamous vanishing hitchhiker in all of Texas folklore, we're about to journey into the heart of haunted Dallas. It's time to question everything you thought you knew about this city. Kicking off our list, we're heading to a place that proves you don't need a haunted house to find a truly terrifying legend. Deep within Arlington's River Legacy Park lies a trail that supposedly leads to a place known only as Hell's Gate. The story goes that if you follow a specific path through the swamps and trees, you'll find 2 old, decaying fence posts. These posts are all that remain of a gate that marked the entrance to a dark chapter of Civil War history. According to the legend, this area was used as an execution site for captured Union soldiers. Confederate troops would lead the spies down this remote trail, and the gate was the last thing they would see before being hanged. The sheer number of violent deaths is said to have left a permanent scar on the land, creating a paranormal hotspot. Visitors who claim to have found the gate report a deeply unsettling atmosphere. People speak of feeling an intense sense of being watched, sudden drops in temperature and hearing disembodied sounds on the wind, faint cries, moans, or even quiet prayers. Some have even reported the apparition of a red-haired Confederate general, still lurking near the old gateposts, as if overseeing the horrors that once occurred there. Whether it's a true portal or simply the psychic echo of immense suffering, the legend of Hell's Gate is a chilling reminder of the brutal history hidden within a peaceful public park, earning it the number 5 spot on our list. Number 4. The Ghosts of Preston Road. Some hauntings aren't just in one house or a creepy cemetery. Sometimes a whole stretch of road seems to be haunted by its own past. And that brings us to our number 4 spot, the Ghosts of Preston Road. Today, Preston Road is a major Dallas artery, a busy highway packed with shopping centers, fancy neighborhoods, and a ton of traffic. But this modern road is built on top of one of the oldest and most important trails in Texas history. Long before it was paved, this route was a trail used by Native Americans. Later, it became part of the Shawnee Trail, a major path for cattle drives heading north. In 1840, it was made an official military road for the Republic of Texas. Acting as a lifeline for pioneers moving into the wild frontier, was a path of hope and new beginnings, but also one of incredible hardship and conflict. And according to local lore, some of those early travelers never left. For decades, drivers on Preston Road have reported strange and unsettling sightings. The most common reports are of ghostly figures on the roadside after dark, usually dressed in pioneer-style clothing. There's a recurring legend of the Pioneer family, a group of ghosts seen walking north as if they're still on that long journey to find a new home. They appear solid one moment, a family completely out of time, and then vanish as quickly as they appeared. Another story tells of a ghostly man holding a lantern, forever searching for something he lost along the old trail. Claudette Brott, who used to lead ghost tours for the Dallas Historical Society, shared a story from her late husband from the 1960s. He lived in a house near Preston and Royal, and claimed he had multiple encounters with pioneer spirits. He said he would see them looking out the windows of his house, or even see them on the road itself, complete with a covered wagon, looking back at him like he was the one who didn't belong. What makes the Preston Road hauntings so creepy is how connected they are to the raw foundational history of Dallas. This wasn't just a road, it was the lifeblood of a new territory. The very ground here is soaked with the energy of everyone who walked it centuries ago. So next time you're stuck in traffic on the busy, modern Preston Road, just remember the ancient path beneath you. You might just spot someone still trying to finish their journey. Alright, we're halfway through our list of Dallas's most haunting legends. Okay, and trust me, the stories only get more chilling from here. If you're finding this as fascinatingly creepy as I do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe. That way you won't miss our next dive into the unknown. Your support is what lets us keep exploring these dark and mysterious corners of the world. Now, let's get back to the countdown. Number 3. The Lake Worth Monster. For number 3, we're exploring a legend that proves not all monsters are human. Just outside Fort Worth, in the summer of 1969, a series of terrifying encounters gave birth to a Texas legend, the Lake Worth Monster. For many in the area, that summer wasn't just about Woodstock or the moon landing. It was the summer of the Goatman. The story exploded on July 10, 1969, when the Fort Worth Star-Telegram ran a front-page headline, "Fishy Man-Goat Terrifies Couples Parked at Lake Worth." The night before, a group of couples reported that a creature had leaped from a tree onto their car near Greer Island. They described a horrifying beast that was part man and part goat, covered in both fur and scales, with long, sharp claws. An 18-inch scratch down the side of their car seemed to back up their panicked story. This was just the beginning. The story caused a frenzy, with armed locals descending on the lake to hunt the creature. A few days later, a crowd of witnesses, including sheriff's deputies, saw the creature on a bluff. It claimed it let out a pitiful cry before hurling a tire and wheel over 500 feet toward them. Descriptions poured in, painting a picture of a 7-foot-tall, 300-pound whitish-gray beast. Later that year, a local man named Alan Plaster snapped a now-famous blurry photograph of a large, white, hairy figure in the tall grass. While many suspect the sightings were a prank that got out of hand, the legend of the Lake Worth Monster, Texas's very own Bigfoot, remains one of the area's most famous and frightening tales. Number 2. The Hookman of the Trinity River. Coming in at number 2 is a story that taps into one of the most classic urban legend fears of all time. This isn't about a specific ghost with a sad backstory. This is about a faceless, terrifying monster, a story designed to be a brutal warning. This is the legend of the Hookman of the Trinity River. The story is Dallas's local spin on the Hookman tale that has scared teenagers all over America for generations. You know the basics. A young couple, a secluded lover's lane, a radio report about an escaped killer, and a terrifying discovery. In the Dallas version, the setting is the dark, isolated banks of the Trinity River. Beach has always been a popular spot for couples looking for a little privacy. As the legend goes, a teenage couple is parked by the river, listening to the radio. Suddenly, a news bulletin cuts in. A dangerous patient has just escaped from a nearby asylum. He's a madman, the announcer says. And he's easy to identify because one of his hands has been replaced with a sharp metal hook. The girl, obviously, is terrified and wants to leave right now. But the boy is trying to be brave, or maybe he's just annoyed that his date night is being ruined. He tells her to relax, that the killer is probably miles away. But the girl is freaking out. She swears she heard a strange scratching sound on her side of the car. Finally, the boy gives in, starts the car and peels out, annoyed at his paranoid date. He drives her home in total silence. When they get to her house, he gets out to open her door, and that's when he sees it. Dangling from the passenger side door handle, glinting under the porch light, is a bloody hook. That scratching sound she heard was real. The Hookman had been right there, his hand on the door, inches away from her. If they had stayed even 1 second longer, he would have been inside. This legend is the perfect cautionary tale, meant to scare kids away from parking in sketchy, isolated places. Its power is in its simplicity. The Hookman is faceless, which makes him a symbol for every nameless fear that waits in the dark. While there's no historical proof of a real Hookman on the Trinity River, the legend is a core piece of Dallas folklore. It's a story that's been told at countless sleepovers, a chilling reminder that sometimes the biggest threat isn't a ghost from the past, but a very real danger waiting just outside your car door. Number 1. The Lady of White Rock Lake. We've arrived at the number 1 spot. And if you know anything about Dallas folklore, this is no surprise at all. It's the city's most famous, most enduring, and most haunting urban legend. It is the story of the Lady of White Rock Lake. This is the ultimate vanishing hitchhiker story, and it has been terrifying Dallasites for almost 100 years. The legend is centered around White Rock Lake, a huge urban park that was built as a reservoir back in the early 1910s. Since the 1930s, people have reported encounters with a mysterious, sad young woman. The story has a few different versions, but the main details are always the same. A driver is heading along the roads next to the lake late at night, usually on Garland Road or Lawther Drive. They spot a figure on the side of the road, a beautiful young woman in a white, formal evening gown that for some reason is soaking wet. Worried, the driver pulls over. The woman explains in a shaky voice that she was in a boating accident and just needs a ride home. She gives an address, usually on Gaston Avenue in the Lakewood neighborhood. She climbs quietly into the back seat. The driver heads toward the address, but at some point, maybe when they turn to ask a question, or when they pull up to the house, they look into the back seat and find it empty. She's gone, leaving nothing behind but a damp spot on the seat. Shaken and confused, the driver decides to go knock on the door of the address anyway, needing an explanation. An older, tired-looking man answers. When the driver tells him the bizarre story, the man's face just fills with sorrow. He explains that they aren't the first person to show up at his door with this tale. He tells them his daughter drowned in a boating accident at White Rock Lake years ago. She was wearing a beautiful white dress the day she died. The first written version of this legend showed up in 1943, but people were definitely telling the story long before that. Some think it was inspired by a real death, but no single case perfectly fits the legend's details. Regardless of where it came from, the story of the Lady of the Lake is now an icon of Texas lore. She is a tragic, restless spirit, forever trying to get home from her watery grave, a journey she is doomed to never finish. Her sad ghost is, without a doubt, the most haunting urban legend in Dallas. From a gateway to a violent past, to a goat-like monster on a riverbank, and finally, to a heartbroken girl forever lost on her way home. The legends of Dallas are a powerful reminder that some stories never die. These 5 tales have haunted the city for generations, becoming a part of its identity. They're born from the city's real history, its pioneer trails, its dark secrets, its bizarre panics, and its darkest corners. But these are more than just scary stories. They're warnings, they're echoes of real trauma, and they're a way for the city to process its past, both the verifiable and the fantastic. They prove that just beneath the modern busy surface of Dallas, there's a deep and mysterious current of folklore that continues to scare and fascinate us. The spirits of Preston Road, the monster of Lake Worth, the terror of the Hookman, and the sorrow of the Lady of the Lake all prove the power of a great story and the unsettling idea that the past is never really gone. It's just waiting in the shadows, on the side of the road, or maybe in the back seat of your car. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these Dallas legends do you find the most haunting? And are there any big Dallas legends that I missed? Drop them in the comments below. I'm always fascinated by local legends and personal stories. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more explorations into the world's greatest mysteries. Till next time, stay curious.